everyone, welcome to Steph's Garage Jewelry. Thank everybody for the support and all the kind words and feedback that I've been getting. I really truly appreciate it, so please keep it up. I love hearing from you. Today we are going to be making the necklace for the New Year's Eve ball collection. This series, this collection came about and was inspired for two different things. Is actually three things. One, I wanted to use Rolo Chain. I had a bunch of Rolo Chain that I had wanted to use, and so that's what inspired this particular collection. The other thing that inspired it is that when I was coming up with this concept, it was right at the end of December, beginning of January, and I wanted something that represented kind of as if you were going to go to, you wanted like a statement piece or something of that nature. And so that's what inspired this as well. And then of course, my old age reason for being inspired is I always have a person in mind I'm trying to think of, or people, sometimes it's people, that I plan on making some gifts for, and that's where I get my inspiration as well. So this is where this collection came from, and I had kind of the idea for the necklace first, but I wanted to play around with the earrings and the bracelet first and then go to the necklace. I wasn't quite knowing how I wanted to put the necklace together, so while I was making and designing the earrings and the necklace, the earrings and the bracelet, I was still trying to figure out how I was going to put this necklace together. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about this. So this it looks more complicated than it is, but really it's basic stringing and right angle weave. And so we're going to be incorporating those things to make this beautiful piece. And let's get started and let's have some fun. So go ahead, gather your materials, gather your drink, and we'll get started. One of the first things we're going to need to do is that each of these little pikes here have Rolo chain, and we're going to need to cut our length of our Rolo chains appropriately for each pike. So here we have a total of 6, then we have 9, 12, 12, 9, and then 6 again. So we're going to need to cut our chain lengths accordingly. As we look at the back, we can see that each pike here has 2 Rolo chains connected to it on each side. And so when we do this, we need to figure out the length of chain that we need for each pike. And to get started, let's start off with the pike that has the 6 bicones, okay? What is unique about the Rolo chain is that it has links going in one direction and then in another direction. And so the way we're going to look at these chains, we're going to look at the very beginning link, okay? And you can turn this around so that it changes the directions of the links, but you will always have the connecting link going in. One will lay vertical and the other one will lay horizontal. So just depending on how you turn the chain will determine where the connecting link will lie. It'll always be a 90-degree angle. So here we have our first link, and that's going to connect to our bicone. The second link, which is lying 90 degrees to our first link, will not be connected to our bicones, but that's where we're going to be setting our Delicas on top of. The following link will be connected to the next bicone. So the way to count your links to know where to cut off and where to separate is determining where the bicones are going to be connected. So for this link, I am going to need to have, I'm going to have 6 bicones connected. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll have 6 links where the bicone is connected directly with. And then I'll have 5 in between links where my bicones aren't connected, but that's where the Delicas are going to sit on top. So I need a total of 11. And for each pike, I'm going to need 2 chains. So I have a total of 2 pikes with 6 bicones. So that means I need a total of 4 chains, these same lengths. And 2, okay, so I'll have 2 for one pike and 2 for the second pike. All right, so go ahead and separate or cut your chain so you have a total of 11 links per chain for your 6 bicones pike. All right, meet me back here and we'll get started. Alright, so the toughest part of this project is literally getting each pike started. And so what we want to do is thread your needle with your thread and put your stop bead about anywhere from halfway to 1/3 of the way on your thread. And you want approximately 1 full wingspan and a half for this 6 bicone pike, and that should be more than plenty. And what you want to start off doing is we're just basically going to do a right angle weave. And our stop bead is going to stop here, and we'll use the tail for our embellishment. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a right angle weave, so we're going to go through 1 link, then a bicone, and then a link, just like this. Alright, so we're just going to hold that into place. Alright. Then we're going to pick up 3 Delicas. Okay. Slide that down our thread. And I do find that it helps to start off that way. And then we're going to go through, not the next link that's 90 degrees to our first link, but the following link, the 3rd link. We're going to go through that link on the one side, and our Delicas should sit on top of the link that's 90 degrees below the first link. We'll pick up a bicone, okay, and it's hard to see here because my fingers are in the way, so I'm just gonna go away here. So here is the link my bicone is connected. I'm skipping this link and I'm going through this link right here. So it should be this. It's the corresponding link on the opposite side. And I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of hold things in place so it sits a little bit better. And I may have to adjust as I go along, but I just need to get started here. Then I'm going to pick up 3 more 11 Delicas. I'm going to go ahead and slide those down my thread. There we go. So they're sliding down my thread. They're going to sit up on top of the 90-degree link. Then I'm going to go through that first link and bicone link. I'm not going through the Delicas yet. There's logic behind that. And these Delicas should sit on top of the previous link. There we go. There. Things are a little loosey. There we go. You don't want to make things too tight, but you need a little bit of tension here. All right. So what you want to, so when you look at this, this is a basic right angle weave. So we have one wall here, our second wall here, our third wall here, and then our fourth wall here. And this particular project, since you are working with a lot of bicones and potential sharp edges, I do recommend reinforcing everything. I'm going to go ahead and go through this a total of 3 times, just to add stability and so forth. And I'm doing each wall separately because that will help it to lay correctly. There we go. And if you have a link, there we go, a Delica that wants to go that way. So now I'm going through my 3 Delicas. I'm just reinforcing everything. There we go. Going through. And the first unit is always the most difficult. Now we have our, we're going to go through one more time. And when I finish my right angle weave, I want to make sure I'm coming out of this wall here, which includes this link, this bicone, and that link. And it just, you're just going in the direction that your thread is naturally taking you in. There we go. There. Don't want my thread to catch on anything. Through the final wall. Alright, so now we have our first unit on. And that really truly was the most difficult thing to do, is putting on our first unit. After that, it gets a lot easier. So the next thing is to go ahead and put on our next unit. And since we have our first wall already established, we're going to just have to put on our other 3 walls. So go ahead and pick up, we'll start off with picking up 3 11-0 Delicas, just like that. Sliding those Delicas down. Alright, then going through the link. And I like to hold this here on my mat to help things, guide things. And usually it sits, the Delicas sit right on top for me. There we go. If they don't, just go ahead and adjust them. And then go ahead and pick up your next bicone. Slide that down. Then go through the corresponding link on the opposite side. And again, I just like to hold things into place so things sit correctly. There we go. Oops, sorry about that. Then I'll go ahead and pick up 3 more 11-0 Delicas. I'll slide those down my thread. And I do like sliding them down my thread for this particular project just because I'm having things sit in a particular way on top of the Rolo chain. And it does seem to help. Then I go through that wall that we had already established, that first wall. There we go. And that wall consists of, whoops, the link, bicone, link. So I'm going to just go through those 3 things. And it's really important to do one segment at a time, each wall at a time, because things do sit a lot better that way. Alright, now I'll go ahead and reinforce that 3 times, and then I just continue all the way down and till I get to my 6th bicone, and then meet me back here and I will show you the next step. Now if you are afraid of maybe cutting your chains a little too short, you can always add an extra couple of links onto each side and then just cut them or remove them once you got to the 6th bicone. That is perfectly fine, whatever you're most comfortable with. But for now, let's go ahead, go down to, you got a total of 6 bicones. Meet me back here and we'll do the next step. Alright, here's a little tip in doing the pikes. So I like to pair up the pikes and do the embellishments at this the stages, the base and then the embellishment at the same time. for example, the two pikes that are 6 bicones, I like to do them at the same time. The 9 bicones pikes, I like to do them at the same time, and so on. And the reason why that is that when we're creating our pikes, our embellishments are going to be going in the opposite direction. For like here, I'm going to have the embellishments going this way. And over here, I'm going to have the embellishments going in that direction. And to make my life a little easier, I start over on this side, have my stop bead. And on this one, I start over here with my stop bead on the opposite side. So it just naturally lends to the direction I want my embellishment to go. Because when you have your embellishment, you basically want them to create a bit of a V between the two as you go along. And so that just makes your life a little bit easier. And if for some reason you start on the same side, it's not the end of the world. All you have to do is weave in and out and change directions and then wind up on the opposite side. So not the end of the world. This just makes your life a little easier. So go ahead, remove your stop beads, and then meet me back here, and we'll go ahead and get started on the embellishments. Alright, so go ahead and remove your stop beads from both sides. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do the embellishment. I'll show you how to get started over here and then over here on the opposite side. Then I'll have you go through and finish to the end, and then at the very end I'll show you how to finish up the embellishment for each pike. So go ahead, gather your materials. You're going to need your 11-0 Delicas. If you're going to be using a second color, color B then. Or if you're going to use the same color, you can do that as well. And then your 3mm Bicones. And let's get started. Alright, in regards to your embellishment, there's a couple of things to note. Is that you'll have a total of 6 pikes. 2 of them 12 bicone length, 2 9 and 2 6. I previously in the previous segment had started creating the 6 bicone. Here I have the 9. It's all going to be the same process. One set of pikes, you'll have the embellishment going in this direction, and the opposite will be going in this direction. And the reason why that is that if you were to put them side by side, they should create a V-like pattern. And what's kind of cool about this embellishment is it creates kind of a spiral feel without actually creating a spiral. So go ahead and let's get started. And what you're going to need is you're going to need 2 11-0 Delicas, 1 3mm Bicone, and 2 11-0 Delicas. Alright, so I'm just sliding that down my thread. And so I'm coming out of my thread and needle are coming out of this link over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the opposite side, go through the link bicone link that's below the one that I am coming out of, go all the way through, just like this. There we go. And that's going to create my spiral effect. And I don't want to create a knot, so let me just make sure I'm careful here. And I'm creating a knot. So let's do that one more time. So I'm picking up 2 11-0 Delicas, 1 3mm Bicone, and 2 11-0 Delicas. Sliding that down my thread. And I'm going through the link bicone link below on the opposite side to create that spiral effect. So I'm just going to hold this into place. I'm going to go nice and slow and just making sure things sit correctly. And then I just want to keep on going down until I get to the very end, and we'll finish up the embellishment there. But before we do that, I do want to show you what it's like on the opposite side. So same thing, pick up two 11-0 Delicas, a 3mm bicone, and two 11-0 Delicas. I'm coming out of this link here. I'm going to go down to the link below and bicone link below. And I'm just going to slide through across, and this is going to create that nice spiral effect. Just like that. And you just keep going, and as you can see, this creates a V on the opposite side. So go all the way down. The ending will be the same for both sides, so meet me back here and we'll do the ending for both sides. Alright, now that we've finished this part of the embellishment on the two 9 pieces, you can see how they create a bit of a V shape. And keep in mind, we're going to do the exact same thing on the two 6 bicone pieces and the two 12 bicone pieces. Now we just need to do the tip, which will be the same for all of them. And what you're going to want to do is, let me just move one off to the side here, so we have room to work with. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up four 11-0 Delicas. I'm coming out this side of the link here. I'm going to go through on the opposite side and go through the link bicone link. There we go. Then I'm going to go through again, and this time I'm going to pick up an accent color. I'm going to pick up a 11-0 Delica, and this time I'm going to pick up silver, and then I'm going to go through. So I went through two 11-0 Delicas, I picked up one 11-0 Delica, and then went through the other two 11-0 Delicas. And this will help create kind of a pike shape and give it some definition. And then I just go through that again. And then you just reinforce, and then you go back up and you reinforce all of your embellishments here, all the way to the top. And then you do the same thing on all of your pikes. Once you've completed each of your pikes, meet me back here and we'll go ahead and get started putting things together and creating the chain. I will have in description how to measure your Rolo chain. So go ahead, pick up two 11-0 Delicas. In this particular case, I'm picking up, four 11-0 Delicas, and in this particular case I'm picking up silver galvanized. And I'm coming out of, so the bottom bicone here, I have the link. I'm coming out of that link. I'm just going to go through to the opposite side and drawing through the link first, then the bicone, and then going through to the other link. Now just shape around the bicone, go through again, first just two 11-0 Delicas, then pick up 11-0 Delica, and I'm picking up galvanized yellow. That gives that little bit of contrast I'm looking for. And then going through the two 11-0 Delicas on the opposite side. and then back through that bottom bicone, going through the link first, the bicone, and then the link. And go ahead and reinforce that 1 to 2 more times. So go ahead and do this for each of your pikes. Meet me back here, and once you have all your pikes done, we'll put things together and create your chain and go from there. All right, it's shaping up, everybody. Thank you, and let's keep on going, and I'll see you back here in a bit. As we look at this necklace, you can see what we're going to do next is, once we've made our pikes, is we're just going to connect them by 2 4mm pearls, and on each end of that we're then going to make a right angle weave, and then we're going to create a pathway into our actual chain. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're just going to be connecting everything, then creating those right angle weaves, and then making the chain. So gather up your materials for this, and then let's get started. As you've noticed that I haven't cut off or ended one side of the thread, and the reason why that is I'm going to be doing quite a bit of reinforcement, and I've already gone through these beads several times already, and so I'm kind of limited on the number of thread paths. So I just want to make sure I leave myself room to do the reinforcement of the connection itself, okay? So what we're going to do is, right now I've threaded my needle with the remaining thread of my smallest pike. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect all my pikes together with a 4mm pearl or Druk bead or round bead, and go all the way across, and then I'm going to create a right angle weave to turn myself around, and then I'm going to connect them again with a second 4mm round bead, and today I'm using Druk beads. So I'm going to go ahead, pick up 1 4mm Druk bead. I'm coming out of the top link, so right over here from the link itself, I'm going to go through the top link of each piece and bicone and then link, and then I'll put on another Druk bead. So I got the first one connected just like that. And now I'm going to pick up another 4mm Druk bead. Coming out of this link, I'm going to go through to the next pike and go all the way across that first top link, 4mm bicone, and then link again, just like this. There we go. Then I'm going to pick up another 4mm Druk bead, slide that down, and then I'm going to go through the next link, bicone link, there we go. And if you notice, one thing I should point out is I have all the 3 over here where the spiral is going in this direction, and then over here, these 3, I have the spiral going in here, and I'm starting, so the center has the longest to the shortest on the way out. Now I'm going to pick up another 4mm Druk bead, slide that down, and I'm going to go through the link, bicone link, at the very top. There we go, just like this. Then I'm going to pick up a 4mm Druk bead. And I'm going to connect the last one by going through the link, bicone link at the very top. There we go, just like this. All right, then I'm going to create my right angle weave. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a Druk bead, 4mm Druk bead, 11 Delica, 3mm Bicone, 11 Delica. So that will be my second wall here. And then I'm going to pick up another 4mm Druk bead. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, just like I did with the top, I'm going to go through the and connect everything with a second 4mm Druk bead, but I'm going to do it at the level where the second bicone is. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the link, and then the second bicone, and then the link. And it gets a little hard to do it in this direction, so I'm just going to turn everything around and do it from the back. Just move things out of my way carefully. We'll find out if this is a good idea or not. There we go. Just so I can see better. All right. Now I can see what I'm doing. And so I'm going through that link, bicone link. Just like that. And I'm going to go all the way across. So that's the first one. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick up a Druk bead. And it'll just be just like before. The only difference is we're going through the second bicone. So I'm going through that link, bicone, link again. And there we go. Just like that. Then I'm going to go through the 4mm Druk bead. And then I'm going to go through the next pike, same way. There we go. I think I'm just going to switch over to a size 12 needle. Alright, so this will make things a little easier. So I'm going through that second link, second bicone, second link across. There we go. I don't know if I'll have room to go through this again. Ah, there. Yeah, I'll have room. Just gotta find that sweet spot. There we go. And then another Druk bead. And I'm going through the link, bicone link. Picking up another Druk bead. Going through another link, bicone link. And then I'm going to pick up another Druk bead. and go through the bicone, I'm sorry, the link bicone link. There we go. And then I go ahead and I'm going to pick up a Druk bead, slide that down. Then I'm going to pick up a 11-0 Delica 3mm bicone, and then 11-0 Delica. And then I'm going to pick up a 4mm Druk bead. There we go. Oops. And then I just go through the top and start my reinforcements. So I'm just going to go all the way across again for the whole process. I'm just going to pull this through. And this is how we're going to connect it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to reinforce everything and then end my threads. I'm going to make sure with each thread I'll probably go down a bit and so forth in the weave and do a couple of half knots with each one, but I just wanted to make sure I can make that connection first before I filled up all the holes with too much thread. And then once we're done with that, meet me back here and we'll get started on working on the chain, okay? So what I ended up doing with this piece is that after I weaved in and out and reinforced the connection of the pikes, I made sure that I had, if I had any thread that was long enough to go ahead and continue with the chain, I made sure that if I had enough, at least 4 threads coming out of one side of each of the right angle weave unit over here and one over here. So I have a total of 4 threads coming out that way. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started on the chain, and we're going to get started, and whatever we do on one side we'll then turn around and do on the other side. Alright, so with one thread I picked up a total of 2 11-0 Delicas galvanized gold, and then 1 silver 11-0 Delica galvanized Delica. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide that down, and then with my other thread and needle over here on this side I'm going to just pick up 2 11-0 Delicas, and then I'm going to go through that very last 11-0 Delica that's on the other thread, that's silver, just over here. Just gonna slide all down my thread. There we go. There. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a 4mm Druk bead and then a 3mm bicone. There we go. And eventually with the other thread and needle we'll go up the chain as well. But until then I'm just going to alternate between a 4mm Druk bead and a 3mm bicone until I get to the length that I want. Plus I will also be doing this exact same thing on the opposite side. And once I get to the length that I want, I'll take my thread and needle with the other thread and also go all the way up as well. So go ahead and do that. Then meet me back here and we'll go ahead and get started on the clasp. So now we're ready to go ahead and create our final section of the clasp. And I'm going to do it separately on a sample piece because when I was recording, I got out of frame and I wanted to make sure you guys are able to see what I'm doing. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Grab your materials and let's get started. So here is my sample chain. And for you, you're going to have the complete necklace, all completed except for the very end where we attach our clasp. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to attach your clasp. So at the end of your chain, and it doesn't matter if you end it with a bicone or pearl or a 4mm Druk bead, whatever you're using. Here I'm using a 4mm Druk bead. I'm ending it with that. It doesn't necessarily matter which you do end. However, I will say this is that the Druk bead and the Preciosa pearls or the Swarvoski pearls, their holes are a little smaller, so I tend to like to end it with that. Plus, Bicones tend to have sharp edges, so that's another reason why I tend to prefer to end it with a pearl versus a Bicone. Ultimately, it's your decision. All right, with that being said, go ahead and add to your needle and thread 9 11/0 Delicas. Then go ahead and slide that down your thread, just like that. And imagine that on this split ring I have a clasp attached. Since this is just a sample, I'm just going to attach the split ring, but imagine that I have a clasp attached. So then I'm going to take my split ring. I'm going to just slide that down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through that very first 11/0 Delica and then back down my chain as far as I can go. If you have enough thread, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, stop somewhere and do a half knot to turn around and go back up. And if you have to do the half knot, I suggest doing it in a bicone. And the reason why is it will hide better in the hole of a bicone. Plus, you'll have a little bit more room than you would with a lot of other beads. Especially Druk beads, I've noticed they tend to have a little bit smaller hole. So just like that. We're going back up the chain. There we go. And just, make sure you're not skipping any beads while you do that. There we go. And when you go back up, make sure you go through that very first 11/0 Delica. Important thing to note about this first 11/0 Delica is we're going to be going in and out of it on both sides of the loop. So that will be our central point. Okay? So from that central 11/0 Delica, I'm going to go up on one side, doesn't matter which side, up 2 additional 11/0 Delicas. Just like this. There we go. Then I'm going to pick up one of my accent 11/0 Delicas and then go through 2 more 11/0 Delicas. Alright, so we've gotten our second accent on. We've gone through 2 of the 11/0 Delicas over here and we moved over a split ring. So we have 1 accent on, so we're about to put on our second. So I'm coming out of the 2 here. I pick up 11/0 Delica accent. Then I'm going to go through the next 2 11/0 Delicas. And then I'll pick up my final 11/0 Delica accent. And I will go through 2 plus the very beginning 11/0 Delica that joins the loop. And then go all the way down my chain if I can. And if I can't, I'll do a half knot and turn myself around and go back up and reinforce. There we go. So let's just take a quick look at this. So you have your 11-0 Delica, your first one that's joining. Then you have a total of 8 11-0 Delicas. When you come back up, you go through the joining, then 2 11-0 Delicas, add 1 accent, go through 2 11-0 Delicas, move your jump ring and your clasp to the side, and then add your second 11-0 Delica accent. Then from there, go through 2 11-0 Delicas, add your third and final 11-0 Delica accent, and then go back down to plus the joining 11-0 Delica, and then down your chain. And you want to reinforce your chain and your clasp area at least 3 to 4 times. I would say would be a good number of times. You really don't want to do too many times, and you definitely don't want to do too little. And at the end result, you can't, I mean, it is just a beautiful necklace. It's a statement piece. You will be very pleased with that. So thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please send them to me. You can contact me at Steph's Garage Jewelry on Facebook. If you want I tend to get a faster response from me. And you can send it to YouTube. It might take me a little bit longer to get back to you, but I do look them over, and I appreciate the support, and I'm enjoying, I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have. We're always learning, you know. I'm one of those people that there's always another way of doing things, and I like to look at it from a multi-angle approach. So you'll find that I'm not very stagnant. I like to do a variety of different things. So thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you like this video and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and also, you know, hit that like button. That helps me. So thank you. Take care and stay healthy.